Hello, everyone. Welcome to Melody of Music Series 2. We are joined by the amazing Tianna Franxx.
Hello.
Um, so today we're going to find out about Tiana as a brand, as a person, as a musician, as an artist, and get to know a bit about Tiana. How are you doing today or this evening?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. A little bit tired, but we're doing, yeah, we're doing good. We're good. How are you?
Yeah, a little bit tired as well. We're persevering though.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with some just some basic questions to start off with to kind of get you into the flow. So, what's I know currently on Spotify you've only got one song out, but
Mhm.
everyone who follows T or Tiana, you know that she has a plethora of songs that like she does for her raves that she does and all of that. But what's your favorite song that you've written so far?
Um, oh, I mean, Lost in the Moment is it like came in a moment. So I loved how the evolution of that happened. It was very fast, that song, and it is like a real kind of journey. But I think the first song I ever wrote, um, which is titled Wonderland, but is not out there in the world yet. I think that's, I guess, probably got to be the closest one to my heart, just because it was the first song I ever wrote. Um, yeah, it's like quite like whimsical and like reminds me of like my young festival like happy kind of days. Not that festivals aren't happy now, but like when I was young where everything was quite new, it kind of has that
Yeah.
like fun kind of light element to it, I guess.
Nice. And your favorite song to perform on the flip side?
Um, to perform, it's a song called Nervous. It's like really like I get this like power from it. I think you've probably heard all of these songs
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, it's it's as I've got more comfortable with the song and performing the song over like the last couple of years. It's yeah, there's something about that song when I perform it. I feel like this like beast kind of comes out.
Um, yeah, I mean, if anyone has the chance to go to a Tiana event, definitely go and check it out. I mean, I've heard Tiana on a slightly smaller scale at your is it fair to say it's a brand and a company, Arts Beats Culture?
Yeah, yeah. Community, I guess, maybe collective, if you
Yeah.
like. Um, yeah, yeah, it is a brand, I guess.
Because yeah, so you've built that. How long have you built Arts Beats Culture for?
So ABC London has been around since lockdown. So we started online. So yeah, that was what, however many years ago now. So like 2019, 2020 kind of time. Um, yeah, that started like to kind of give myself and others the opportunity to still perform or like start performing because it's a little less intimidating when you're in your own house.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like for me, it was like the rebirth of my artist journey, and a lot of my friends are creatives and artists, and how I was able to kind of give them space to perform and find that kind of voice in themselves again.
Nice. And from Arts Beats Culture, um now I know that you wrote a poem. Uh
Hmm. Yeah.
is there one particular line that you really enjoy from that poem?
Oh, they all have a really like potent meaning. Uh oh, good question. Now I've got to try and remember the poem. I guess it's I'm just right from the first line, if you call to
Yeah.
be seen, don't hide what is true. Like it's like it's yeah, that I love that poem. I actually do know all the words to it, but
Don't
and
worry,
there's
I
no
put you on the
judgment
spot.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like yeah, there's no judgment here. Like let me make that clear. There is no judgment here. Yeah, those two lines are pretty powerful.
Yeah. Sorry about putting you on the spot. Just I figured
No,
it
perfect.
is
Thank you.
it's such a good poem and it's such a good inspiration on getting new people to
Mm,
come out
thank
and
you.
have a go. Um,
Thank you.
so back to just some general questions.
Mhm.
So who inspired you to start making music?
Um, I mean, to be honest with you, probably like my family. So my dad used to be a DJ a very long time ago,
Okay.
and my uncle is a really talented guitar player. My dad also used to sing and play the guitar. My brother as well can play the guitar really well. So I've grown up around. I don't play the guitar, unfortunately, but I've grown up around that kind of influence and my like my dad's always been quite influential with music. My family love music, so I
Hmm.
guess they're my very first inspirations to wanting to start making music.
Yeah. I mean, it is very funny, like the amount of different opinions of who first inspired who that we've had. We've had family, we've had parents, we've had teachers, we've had um friends, and
Yeah,
it's always a different answer, and it's always great to hear that there's so many different people inspiring.
yeah, it's important to be inspired,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, if you wanted to re-record any song in the big wide world as a cover,
Mhm.
what would you want to do?
As a cover,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Um, oh, there is like a song on the tip of my tongue, but it's really annoying me. It is a Fleetwood Mac song. Oh my gosh.
Do I
I'm
know the
sure
one
we've
that you're
spoken
on
about
about?
this before. Tell me again, say that again.
I think I know which one you're. Oh my God, hang on. Let me see.
Oh my God. It's like
Is it the
it's
is it
you'll
the
catch me at
chain?
the tired time of
Is
the
it the
day.
chain?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Little thing to note about me is I'm terrible at remembering song names. Like if I don't get it in, um, it's terrible being a DJ and not knowing all your song names. But I know what it looks like, and when I see it, that's the worst thing. I know exactly that song when I see it written. I just can't
Yeah.
remember it off the top of my head. Oh, funny.
Um, yeah, the chain's a great song.
It is.
Um, okay, so now into delving a little bit deeper into yourself as a brand and all the different things that you started while making music.
Hmm.
So, what was the turning point that helped you reconnect with your creative voice after 10 years of not doing music and not
Um,
doing it?
yeah. So I this was during like lockdown period, which I feel like a lot of people connected back to their like artist creative self then. Obviously had a lot of space to
Mm,
not do anything. Um, I bought a piano, I started playing again, and yeah, just I think that I'd been missing it a lot. Um, but I also started a creative community online. Um, that were like really kind of wonderful at holding space for like the artists who I'm still with. Actually, it's run by a wonderful woman, one of my mentors, Francesca Philippa, who is a saint. She is just amazing. And yeah, her and the collective really helped kind of bring that out of me, like from when I started with them in lockdown to where I am now is actually kind of crazy. But yeah, they really helped me to like it's having other people there to kind of
yeah,
like support and not to guide you, yes, but to have your back and to listen to your creations. And it's so much better to have people around you, I feel, sometimes when you're creating, or especially at the beginning of your journey,
yeah,
to help
100%.
that kind of Like, yeah, you've got this, we've got you, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's that kind of thing. Like I've on this podcast, we've had quite a few number of artists from Brisbane in Australia.
No.
Um, we've had quite a few artists from like London and quite a few artists from like America. And it's all this kind of thing that like everyone in Brisbane that I've interviewed, they all know each other. And quite a few people in London
I
that I've
love
interviewed.
that.
It's the same in London as well. Like some of the people I've interviewed, they're just like, oh yeah, I know him. I'm just like, okay.
The music call, honestly,
I
it's
know.
beautiful, and like obviously I'm quite obviously I'm into my drum and bass music, but
Yeah,
the more I become a part of that community, the more like we everybody just knows everybody, and it is
I
like one
know.
big family. And that is yeah, that is the beauty of music actually. It's
Yeah,
like a big community really, isn't
I
it?
know. Especially in the indie scene, especially in the indie
Mm,
scene, whether no matter what genre it is, because everyone just wants to support each other and just give help and
yeah.
give
Same with
feedback,
drum
and
and bass.
it's
Same with drum and bass. I mean, you're always going to have a little bit of competition in there somewhere. There's always going to be those. There's always going to be those ones. Electronic music, just like a little bit of it. But to be honest with you, in my experience, I've not had that. I've only come across support and people that generally want you to do well, and on it that means a lot to me because that's what I offer back to people.
yeah. And how competitive are you?
Um, sometimes I wish I was a little bit more competitive. I feel like if it was me against my brother or sister, then it's like it's just I don't know because it's like family fueled. Then it's like I don't know, it's competitive, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes I could be a bit more competitive just because then it kind of might help me do more in a way and like get out there a bit more and maybe try different things and like but it's like I really just I think one of the hardest things when I wasn't creating or what stopped me
Mm,
from creating for a long time was that comparison like was comparing myself to other people and that was what was stopping me from
yeah,
progressing so I just yeah try not to do that too much anymore. It's good to
yeah,
be inspired but like feel like when you start like competing in music, it's kind of losing, you're almost like losing the essence of like what it is you're
yeah,
creating in a way.
yeah. I can't speak English. Your individuality kind of goes a bit when that
Yeah.
happens. Um, so obviously we've talked about Arts Beats Culture, ABC.
Hmm.
You also started T's DMB.
Yeah.
So those are two, I'm not going to say vastly different communities because, of
Hmm.
course, the communities are out there to try and bring people in and help like cultivate the sort of environment for new people to come through.
Mm.
But so why do you feel hosting these communities is crucial for young people and young musicians?
I mean, I just think everybody needs to have that chance in a way.
Mhm.
Like, if I was a young artist when I was younger, if somebody like me, for example, I try like I think if I'd have met me when I was younger, would I have looked up to me? And like that's a really like hard kind of thing to think, like at the same time, because there's a lot of like crazy
Yeah,
stuff that come with that. But um yeah, I just feel like, we need that we do need that support and that we don't always have
mm,
not everybody's blessed to have that around them as well. So it's like recognizing talent and then offering somewhere for them to be able to express it. Because if I had had that when I was
yeah,
younger, I maybe wouldn't have had such a long period where I didn't create and share
yeah,
my art. Well, I wasn't doing anything really. I was just going. I was all over the place. So to have, yeah, to have someone maybe just believe in you a little bit.
yeah,
It's like, yeah, it's really beautiful, and I think it's really important.
yeah. It is very, very crucial because a lot of people aren't. I mean, the industry is kind of very tough, and having
Mm,
someone there that can kind of be like, yes, no, like you can improve. There's always like what you're doing is so
absolutely.
good. You just need to keep going and keep trying and
Yeah.
keep doing the effort, doing the effort.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. So going back to you for a minute, and not the amazing companies which you're and brands that you're
Oh,
working on. Um, so what made you want to go into drum and bass and jungle and
um, but I've just always been there. I've always been there. I don't think going into it was ever an option. I was just always there. So while I wasn't creating
Hmm.
and performing to drum and bass music and playing drum and bass music, I was dancing to drum and bass music. Um, from a very young age, my older sister introduced me to drum and bass and dubstep. And yeah, that was when I was like 12, maybe 11, something like that. And it just, yeah, from there,
Wow.
I was like, oh my God, what is this music? And honestly, I just, yeah, I was hooked pretty much from the get-go. And I have never looked back.
Yeah. Here's drum and bass gone.
Yeah, no, it was just my brain was like, what? So yeah, I very much have a big heart and soul for the drums and the bass and the break.
Um, so what's it? So obviously all these different communities that you work with. How is it getting to know new musicians? And when you first meet new musicians, seeing them from where you first see them to then seeing, even if it's just a few months, seeing the progression after going to your events and
Mm.
just performing at them.
I mean, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to see people progress always. And if you can be part of that journey, that's a beautiful thing as well. It's yeah, I love watching. I love watching people do well. There's always going to be that like I'm like rooting for you kind of thing, especially if I've had the pleasure of having you out like
Yeah.
one of my events. Um, yeah, the more you progress, the better I feel, to be honest with you. If you're a decent person and we've connected in a real life way, which most of the people I've had at my events, I have had the luxury of doing that. I don't seem to have met a bad person at all. Never come across a bad person I don't have feel like I have a genuine connection to. So yeah, no, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see people grow.
Yeah. And if anyone ever has the chance to go to a T's D&B and get involved or ABC, definitely do because T got me my first couple of pub gigs. So
Yeah,
thank you, T.
you're welcome. I'm so glad. Yeah.
And I know you gave us a little bit of your poem, but
Mhm.
to expand a bit, given the fact that you work with a lot of up and coming musicians when they're first starting and getting their feet on the ground, um, what sort of advice would you give to anyone like starting out as you've been through the journey yourself and still going through it? Um, any advice?
Mm. Um, yeah, I guess like find your people. I know it's like
Mm,
easier said than done, but go to things that you enjoy. Go and listen to the music that you like to listen to, and like just you will just meet people. It just happens. Like go to the events where you feel pulled and connected to in that music and the stuff that you like and you're wanting to create. Um, like for me, community really is like the base of my progression. I do not I don't think I can do this without other people around me. That's just me. I know there are a lot of other artists that are really good at like kind of doing things like solo and they've got that like real like drive. But for me, I needed to have people supporting me or around me that I could just bounce off. And I
yeah,
still find that yeah, really important. So yeah, I think like yeah, finding your like creative tribe or even just people that you can send stuff to get advice about that is going to give you like an honest answer and isn't it just going to go, oh yeah, it's great, like like it's really good, keep going, like something that you can actually work with and gives you like the feedback that you actually like really deserve as well.
yeah, yeah. I think it's all about community because music
Definitely.
as an industry can be quite lonely if you just try and do it all yourself. You need to be able to branch out and work with people. can't hear you for a second too.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. It's fine.
You tried to
I'll
me.
just, I'll just,
Let me put
it's
my
fine. The magic
do
of
not.
video editing will fix.
Yay.
It was fine. I was just about to jump into just talking about in three, two, one. So everyone, if you just before we jump into Lost in a Moment, I just want to remind everyone of the gig, which is happening on the 3rd of May. It's the very first Melody of Music Presents live, which is a night of soul and R&B. Um, you may remember in series two the amazing Samuel Ashton and Luke Askew, who are both going to be playing at the event, and it's at the Camden Club on the 3rd of May. And as our amazing headline act, I am glad to announce that we've got the amazing Gigi Moss. Um, so definitely go check out all of their music. You would have heard Samuel and Luke's music in previous episodes, and Gigi, definitely go check her out on Spotify. It will be an amazing night, and if you haven't already, go get your tickets. It's currently 15% off, and the discount code is Presents May with a capital P and a capital M, all lowercase everything else. Yeah. Thank you for putting up with that for a second, T.
No worries. Exciting times. Yes.
So we'll now jump in and listen to Lost in a Moment. I'm really excited. I really enjoy this song.
Oh, thank you.
When I was young, I had so much to say. When I was young, I admit it, yeah, I like to play out on the streets every night, smoking my lung. I got into fights, never caring. Then the next 3 years of my life, I started to slip, and everything around me just felt like a trip. It must have been what I was sipping. Never a boring night. Escapism calling, lost in a moment until the next morning. Lost in a moment until the next. Escapism calling, lost in a moment until the next morning. Lost in a moment until the next. Moment until the next. Lost in a moment, lost in a moment, lost in a moment until the next. Lost in a moment, moment. Lost in a moment, moment. Lost in a moment, lost in a moment until the next. Lost in a moment, lost in a moment. Lost in a moment, lost in a moment until the next. When I was young, I had so much to say. When I was young, I admit it, yeah, I like to play on the streets every night, smoking my lungs, smoking my lungs. Then the next 3 years of my life, I start to get older. My intuition, it starts to get bolder. No longer out in the cold and never a boring night. Escapism calling, lost in a moment until the next morning. Lost in a moment until the next. Lost in a moment, moment. Lost in a moment. Lost in a moment, lost in a moment until the next. Until the next. Lost in a moment. Until the next. Lost in a moment. Lost in a. When I was young, I had so much to say.
So that was Lost in a Moment. Um, so just before I ask you any questions, T, I've got the Melody of Music Presents 2024 magazine, and in there we've got a little bit. We've got you in there.
Ah, look.
So I'm just going to read the first little extract of what I wrote
Ooh.
back then. So Tiana and am I saying Edis? Saying
Adiz.
Edis.
Yeah,
Um, Lost in a Moment reflects how easily one can get lost in the night and grow bolder over time through past experiences.
yeah, love that.
And I forgot to mention, Lost in a Moment came out in November 2024, um, in case anyone's wondering. Um, so how did you get started on this collaboration?
So Adiz messaged me on Instagram. Um, that was pretty much it, to be honest. He messaged me on Instagram and said, I'd like to collaborate with you. He'd seen a post of me just kind of singing um, at Pirate Studios to a drum and bass track, and he sent me a couple of tracks actually that weren't drum and bass. And was like, do you want to work on these? And they kind of already had some melodies over them, kind of
Yeah.
just like followed the melody that was already there. And they weren't really my kind of style of music that much, but they were really good, like really good songs. I actually think he's released a couple of them, but just not without my vocals on, because
Mm.
it just, I don't know, it wasn't really flowing. And then he sent me a drum and bass track, which is that Lost in the Moment. Um, and it had like the siren in it, and it was like this quite a like, quite simple, quite steady. It just rolls through. And he was like, I am doing a like little takeover on BBC Radio, into a BBC Radio 1 introducing, and I need to hand my songs in by Thursday. And I think he sent me this song on a Tuesday. So it was like, I was like, okay. He's like, do you think
Uh,
you could turn something over in that time? And to be honest with you, I'd never done anything like that before. And I'd been writing a lot at the time. And I had just this paragraph. And Lost in a Moment was the title of the track. He'd already titled it. That's just what it was called. And there was just this beginning, and it was like, when I was young, I had so much to say. And it was like, I think, it was like a poem I was kind of writing. And then
mm,
I like, first beat, I hear the song and I was like, well, when I was young. And then it just flew out of me within a matter of hours, to be honest with you. And that's, when you're creating stuff, that's kind of like impossible. But just, I don't know why, it just was, I feel like, because it was quite raw to where I'd just written those words the day before, that kind of feeling of what I was writing was still quite present, and I was like lost in a moment. And as soon as I kind of got through, I was like, wow, this is actually all coming together really nicely. And it just, the title of the track with like where my original kind of thoughts were at the time, I think I was like kind of reflecting a lot back at things. And yeah, it was quite smooth
yeah.
sailing getting that out. And then obviously that went, the rough draft went to BBC Introducing, then got played out on the radio. We got some good feedback from it, and then we decided to record it and release it. Yay, thank you.
No, I mean that type of track. I just remember when I first heard you sing it, and then when I heard it come out on Spotify, I was just like, yes, T's released it.
Yeah. You got the full journey of it, didn't you, really? You
Yeah.
were like, this is the song we're working on. And then it was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. Because
There's the song.
because I went to, for everyone, just as an FYI, I went to loads of ABC events up here in Barnet.
Yeah.
And it was, T would start off the all the open mics by singing. Sometimes there was a different song. Sometimes it was Wonderland. But majority of the time it was Lost in a Moment, and everyone just really enjoyed that song. And finally get
Oh,
it on
thank you.
Spotify. It's really amazing to now just be able to, oh yeah, I'm just wanting to listen to that now.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, James. No, honestly, what a journey we've had as well. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Um, so just before we wrap up for this interview, um, where can people find you, Tiana?
I'm currently in Barnet. No, I'm joking. currently, currently in Barnet. No, at the moment. So at the moment, ABC's taking a little break because I am actually moving from Barnet to somewhere else. I'm not in London. So like I will rekindle that at some point. But at the moment, if you want to come see me play, then you can follow me on Instagram, or Facebook. And yeah, we're running another tease event with another amazing brand called Diversion Audio um, on the 26th of April at a wicked brewery in Black Horse Road. And I mean, this venue is just insane. I can't wait. Like it was like you're raving in with the tanks. It's just so cool. It's so cool. It's honestly, there's not, I've not seen a rave like it. And if I was a young raver back in the day, this would have just been like, yeah. So I feel very, very like proud. So if you want to come to a drum and bass event and see me play, the 26th of April will be a tease. But if there's loads of other stuff happening, so if you want to catch me at another event, then just check my Instagram.
And what's your Instagram handle?
It's Tianna Franxx. So it's spelled Tianna, and Franks is Franx.
That's for everyone that's listening on Spotify, everyone for YouTube. If you don't want to have to
Mhm.
listen back, there'll be the handle below Tiana's video.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so just as an FYI and as a catch up, those of you that are joining us for Tiana's interview and haven't listened to the past ones for series two, oh God, we have had Matthew Gokon, an amazing sort of punk rock kind of artist from Canada. We have had Samuel Ashton, the soulful artist from London. We have had Serendipity, Faith K. Ruse, and Madison Kate, all folk artists from Brisbane, Australia. Then we've had Luke Askew, a sort of folk soul artist from London. And now we've had the amazing drum and bass soulful vocals of Tiana.
Hey, come on.
And as a reminder, we have our first Melody and Music Presents live on the 3rd of May in Camden. If you are around at the start of May, do definitely come and check it out because those three artists are amazing live. I have heard all of them, they are amazing live. So definitely come and check them out. And yeah, thank you so much, Tiana, for joining this Melody and
Thank
Music exclusive.
you. Yeah, I'm glad we got to do this finally. Thank you. I appreciate you very much. It's lovely, lovely, wonderful thing you're doing. So thank you.
Thanks. Well, it was great having you on, and I'm sure everyone is dying to see what you release next.
Me too. Me too. No, we are working on some things, but yeah, progress, slow and steady.
Progress. Well, thank you, Tiana. And for everyone else, I shall see you in the next episode with Fragile Youth for a bit of ambient music to finish off the series. And see you then.